If your name is Sarah and your boyfriend's name is Jake and he was in Austin, Texas for South by Southwest this weekend and your best friend's name is Amanda, this video is for you. This is probably the most disgusting, vile thing I've ever experienced. I'm so sorry. I was at brunch this Saturday and I was seated right next to your boyfriend and your best friend. You might be thinking, why was my best friend there? My best friend wasn't in Austin this weekend. Yes, she was. She was there with your boyfriend. Your friend was gonzo. Like, it was bad. It was 11 a.m. and this girl is screaming. So I heard every single thing she said. They were talking about how your boyfriend had said that he was going on a business trip to go to South by Southwest events, and your friend told you that she was visiting her family. But that's not true. They were fully on a couples trip. Very touchy at the table, holding hands, flirting, like kissing. Gross. Also, we were at brunch. I was like, actually, calm down. This is disgusting. Nobody here wants to see this. And she's sitting there being like, when are you going to leave Sarah? And he's like, soon, babe, I will. But we have a few months of our lease left. And I need her dad's help finishing up with this contract. I don't know what contract they were talking about, but your dad should not be helping that man get any kind of contract. He's sitting there trying to play a good guy too. He's like, yeah, it's been really hard for me. Like, she thinks that we're going to get engaged soon and I'm going to end it to be with you. Oh yeah, things have been really hard for you, Jake. Like, really hard. I know nothing that I can say is going to make this better, but you dodged the biggest bullet of your life because this man was terrible to the waitress. She came and was delivering the drinks, spilled a little bit of water on the table. He looks at her and he goes, you actually have one job. Can you just do it right? South by Southwest in Austin is so busy. These restaurants are absolutely packed. This woman is probably so stressed, and your boyfriend, ick. Biggest ick in the world, literally disgusting. And your friend's makeup was smeared all over her face. Like, the girl had obviously been sweating. It's getting a little warm in Austin. Mascara smeared everywhere. It was bad. It was not a cute look. And yes, obviously I got photos of them together, but I didn't want him to be able to come back and be like, babe, what are you talking about? We just ran into each other randomly, didn't even know she was in Austin. So I also got videos of them having conversations where it's very clear that they're together. He's calling her baby. They're holding hands. Like, I got you. And I know this is actually like horrible, earth-shattering news if this is your boyfriend and your best friend, but imagine being your friend and not only being so backstabbing, so conniving, so unempathetic, a terrible human, but then also having to fake a trip, lie to all of their friends to go on this trip with the guy they're seeing, and they literally like can't post anything about it. They have to lie about it because they know they're in the wrong. Like, that's sad for you. Like, that's really, really sad. Really, you can't, no, there's nobody else. Literally nobody else likes you, that like you have to go for him. Like, it's pathetic. It really is pathetic.
Am I the asshole for telling my fiance my daughter has to be in our wedding?
Gonna go no. If I had a daughter, I think I'd want them to be in the wedding.
I, 45 male, have a daughter, P, from a previous relationship. I divorced my ex-wife on good terms, and we share 50-50 custody of P. She is now 11. After I divorced my ex-wife, I met my now fiance, S. S and my daughter got along very well. After 5 years in my relationship with S, I proposed. S was super excited and wanted to start planning right away. She looked at venues and started asking her friends to be her bridesmaids. She then told me she wanted her niece to be a flower girl, which I had no problem with, but I said I also want P to be a flower girl. S looked at me funny and said that she didn't think that P would fit the part. I got angry and told S that my daughter would be in our wedding. S started to become upset and said that the girls in the wedding were up to her and P wouldn't be one of them. I told S that if P wasn't in the wedding, then there might not be a wedding. I stormed out and took P to get ice cream. P knows we are getting married, and she told me she thinks she will look pretty in whatever dress S decides she should wear. This broke my heart, and I decided to text S. I told her I would be staying at a friend's house to think it over. My mother-in-law texted me saying I was overreacting and that my daughter doesn't have to be in my wedding, and I was an ass for saying that I would cancel. Am I overreacting or just being a good dad?
Yeah, absolutely not the asshole. If you want your daughter in it, you have your daughter. You're not overreacting at all. I don't even understand, especially if she's close with her, why you would think that you wouldn't want your daughter, she's going to be your daughter at your special day. There has to be a different reason than her just being like aesthetic.
So there is an update. I came home to talk to S today. When I pulled into the driveway, my mother-in-law was sitting there in her car. I got out and went inside, trying to avoid talking to my mother-in-law. S was sitting at the kitchen table, and I joined her. She sat in silence, so I asked the first question, which was, why does P not fit the part? And why don't you want her in the wedding at all? Her answer full-on shocked me. She quietly said, I was hoping that after the wedding, you could become a holiday visit only dad.
No.
What? Take the ring back.
I didn't want her in the wedding so that she wouldn't be in photos around the house since she wasn't going to be around much. I kept my cool, calmly took her hand, and pulled my engagement ring off.
You goddamn right you should do that. Oh my.
Her eyes started to tear up. She said we shouldn't end the marriage over this and that she can change. I told her the damage was already done. I told her I wanted her things moved out by next week and that she could come get them when my daughter wasn't wasn't home. The house is in my name and I paid for it. I was allowing her to get her furniture that she paid for. She stormed out and my mother-in-law came knocking on the door saying I was being unreasonable. I couldn't imagine only seeing my daughter 3 to 4 times a year. The fact that S wanted me to give up part of my custody blew me away. I'm sitting on my couch and just in shock. Our honeymoon was supposed to be in Hawaii. Looks like me and P will be going instead.
Wow,
Oh,
good
yeah.
for him. I just don't for 5 years she's been a big part. So why do you think at marriage it would change?
My roommate thinks that I should give up the living room every single time her boyfriend is over. I live with my roommate and we usually get along really well, but lately her boyfriend has been over all the time, like 24/7. He's basically living here now, but he just doesn't pay rent or contribute at all. Last night I get home from work and I grab some food out of the kitchen and plop down on the couch to watch some Netflix while I eat. And then about 5 minutes later, my roommate and her boyfriend walk in and I can tell that he's already a little bit annoyed. He looks at me and he goes, "I thought we were gonna have some alone time." And then she sighs and goes to me, "Hey, do you mind giving us the living room for a little bit?" And I was just like, I live here too, like this is my apartment as well. And then she kind of just rolls her eyes and she was like, "Well, you could just go chill in your room for a little." Like, excuse me? I pay rent here. Why should I go hide in my room just because your boyfriend wants to sit on my couch? So I didn't move and they ended up going into her room, and then a little bit later she texted me saying that I was being inconsiderate and that I should have just respected their space. Like, am I being crazy? How is it their space? We share this apartment. And if anything, he's the guest, not me.
My boyfriend can't stop liking half-naked pictures of other girls, so this is what I did. So my boyfriend has recently started following a bunch of girls on Instagram. And he's also been liking their pictures. And I mean, I usually don't really care about this if they're normal pictures, but he's been liking like bikini pictures and sexy pictures, and I'm not okay with that. I mean, embarrassingly so, I even caught him watching one of their OnlyFans. Disgusting. I never used to be the girlfriend that really cared about Instagram because I care about like real life and everything, but to be honest, after all this, like it's going, like this is a stretch. I confronted him about it, obviously, and he was very defensive about it, and he said, "Well, Instagram is not real life, you shouldn't care about Instagram. I like everything I see." Like, they always give that excuse. He kept doing it, and that's when I was pissed. I was like, okay, you're gonna keep doing this? You're gonna have a taste of your own medicine. My Instagram has always been very inactive. I don't really post on there, and when I do post, it's just very modest pictures because he's always been very controlling like that. However, I decided, well, if he loves watching all these girls posting bikini pictures, then I will do that so myself. And that's what I did. I took a picture and I posted it without saying anything, and he screamed when he saw that picture. He came screaming to my bedroom saying, "What the fuck did you just post? Do you think that's so embarrassing for my friends to see my girlfriend posing like that to a picture? Only hoes do that." Funny, right? Funny. Only hoes do that. He started screaming and slamming doors. It's like, calm down. He told me to take them down or else he'd break up with me. And I was like, okay, then you unfollow all the girls that you don't know and stop liking their pictures, and I will delete my picture. He refused, and now he's ignoring me. He's not talking to me. Me liking girls' pictures has nothing to do with our relationship. I mean, my friends see this. I'm like, my friends also see you in other girls' Instagram likes, and it's embarrassing for me too. This whole thing happened last night, and we've been dating for 3 years, and I really don't want to break up with him. That's why I've, excused the fact that he's been liking other girls' pictures, because I'm like, I'm not going to break up over likes, but at the same time, it's kind of like, that's cheating, because it is, right? I don't know what to do. My friends tell me that I should delete the picture and that I should make a big deal out of him liking other girls' pictures. That's not cheating. I'm not going to ruin our relationship that we've built over 3 years because of Instagram. But I don't know. I just think he needed a taste of his own medicine. I'm like, isn't this what you like? I don't know if I should delete it. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to break up with him, but now he's a victim of a crime he participates in.
My husband is cheating on me with my best friend. Oh, wait. My husband is cheating on me with our best friend. Why do you guys have the same best friend? I recently found out that my husband, 42 male, is cheating on me with our married best friend, 32 female. She is the godmother to our 4 children. They don't know that I know, but I caught them making out at the end of the driveway when he was seeing her off after dinner with our family. We live in a small acreage and the driveway is a long way off from the main house. She had forgotten some crockery at the house and I decided to walk it over because for some reason the two of them always took a while to say goodbye. Now I know why. That's when I saw them lit by her car's headlights, making out in the front seat with our best friend straddling my husband. In shock, I didn't know whether to throw her Pyrex at the car or just walk away. I decided the latter and was too shocked to cry or be angry. When my husband got back, I had to pretend like everything was normal. I know this is stupid, but I couldn't sleep that night and decided to go through his phone. She was obviously understood on him and I found a handful of their messages dating 2 or 3 years. Her husband doesn't know. He's currently posted overseas as a diplomat. I'm sick with rage and betrayal. I'm lost and I have no idea what steps to take next. Okay, so she does have a small update. She goes, I don't live in the US, but in Australia. Technically, I can't file for divorce immediately as you need to be separated for 1 year and 1 day to file. My now ex-best friend just recently returned to the country. Her father has cancer after being posted with her husband overseas. The dinner was to welcome her home, and what a welcome. There's some comments here about the headlights illuminating them. Sorry, I meant overhead lights. As to what I'm going to do now, a part of me just wants to confront my husband, see what lame excuse he has, but I need to get away from him. This level of betrayal physically hurts. I can't help but think of all of the times we spent together over the years and for how long our families were fooled. My mind is going crazy. When she was single and he would rescue her from some bad date, or the times they were alone in my house when the kids and I were out, how irrationally angry he was when he found out she had a boyfriend, then chose to marry him. Thinking back on it, the two of them disappeared at her wedding. When I asked him where he was, he said he needed to reassure her that she had done the right thing. I feel so sick thinking of these things. As of tomorrow, my husband is going to be out of town. While he's out for the next few days, my sister-in-law, who is the only other person who knows, my brother's wife, will help me pack important documents and store them somewhere my husband doesn't know about. I've organized for my kids to stay with them for a week while I sort my shit out. I've spoken to a family lawyer and they have told me that the best way to start the separation procedure is to no longer be living under the same roof. I'm fortunate in that most of our assets are also in my name and the land our house is on was gifted to us by my parents. I'm planning to kick him out after this trip. But before that, I want to catch them both in the act again, have some hard proof, send it to the ex-friend's husband, and get the ball rolling for moving on with my life. I'll update with what happens after the confrontation. Oh man, I don't know if I could ever hold it in. I would have walked back in the house, saw the Tupperware. If I had walked out with Tupperware, I would hope. No, I wouldn't. I would walk back in the house, get the baseball bat under my bed, and the movie Signs. Just swing, keep swinging, just destroy everything in my sight. Good for people who can I don't know. I think in those situations, it's either one of two. You either just become completely shocked, you cannot move, or you just go in a fit of rage. And I'm more definitely the fit of rage person. And then I think I know you have to be smart with it because you're married, and you have kids, and you have property and liabilities. So it's smarter that you don't do that. But I would have been when he's on his trip, especially since it's my parents' land, he would have came back to all his shit on the grass, get out of my house. But I think you're playing it better long term wise.
Imagine thinking your biggest haters are just strangers online. Turns out to be the closest people to you. Story time. Let us begin. This is not the first time that I'm hearing a crazy story like this happening. So just be mindful and safe who you're calling your friends and who you're calling your sisters or your brothers, because not everyone has the best intentions for you. So let's name the girl in this story Amanda. So Amanda just got promoted in her job. She's doing great in life and all of her friends are so happy for her. And they're like, oh my God, girlie, let's go celebrate. Let's go out to dinner, our treat. Obviously she's like, oh my God, my friends are the best. And she goes. Don't trust everybody. So everyone gets drinks and they're all enjoying themselves. They're having a blast. And then Amanda decides to go to the bathroom. You guys know how it is with the ladies. We want to check ourselves and see and make sure that we look good. So she goes to the bathroom thinking nothing of it. Has absolutely nothing to do with the story. But this Armani Luminous Foundation and Concealer, are you crazy? If you guys like a glowy, not so full coverage vibe, please try this out. Just look how my makeup turns out in the end. Okay, let's get back into it. When Amanda was in the washroom, this random guy at the bar happened to see one of her friends put something in her drink. So when she comes out of the bathroom, he pulls her aside and he's like, hey, listen, don't drink that drink. I just saw that girl put something in there. Obviously, you're not gonna want to trust a stranger over your whole friend group, but something in her, I guess, told her to believe him and trust him, you know, because who's gonna really just say that out of nowhere? So she goes back to her group and she's acting normal, like she's not mentioning anything, but she's not touching that drink. This one specific girl, I'm gonna name her Stacy, keeps telling her, oh my god, girl, drink your drink, like why aren't you touching your drink? Drink your drink. She just keeps like pressing her. Obviously, Amanda's like, no, I don't want to drink it, I don't want to drink it. Now the suspicion is just getting worse and worse, because why do you keep pushing me to drink my drink? Like, I'm a grown woman, thank you. So Stacy, who allegedly put something in Amanda's drink, is still on her to drink the drink. She's like, girl, like this is your celebration, why aren't you drinking? Drink up, drink up, drink up. Okay, so at this point, Amanda's catching on. She's like, hey, something's fucking wrong here, because why is she pressing me so much to drink my drink? So she flips it back on her and goes, actually, Stacy, you drink my drink. Let me see you drink it. You should try it. Like, drink my drink. Honestly, she's better than me, because the minute a stranger comes up to me and tells me that one of my friends put something in my drink, there's no acting for me. I would go straight up to them and be like, bitch, what the fuck did you put in my drink, ho? She played it smarter, though. Definitely. Obviously, Stacy says no, because she's the one that put something in the drink, so why would she drink it? And Amanda caught on, and then Stacy caught on. And guess what she said? At this point, Amanda just straight up asks her, what did you put in my drink? Did you even put anything in my drink? And Stacy confesses and goes, yeah, bitch, I put something in your drink. You're always getting all these opportunities. You're always doing better than me. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Can you imagine? I actually do not know what I would do if I was in that position. Like, I'm swinging. Like, are you kidding me? Honestly, I'm not sure what she put in her drink. I don't know if it was like drugs or if she was trying to genuinely end her life. But either or, you're going too far. Like, just be happy for me. Like, things will happen at everyone's timing. You're trying to end my life because I'm doing good. Crazy. And that was the end of the video. Moral of the story, just be safe who you're trusting, because you could be telling someone, oh my gosh, this is happening for me, I'm so happy, and they could literally be in your face saying, oh my god, congrats, like I'm so happy for you, and be boiling and fuming on the inside. So just be safe.
My dad and his wife threw away my late mother's things, and this is what I did. Mom passed away when I was 10 years old, and my dad got remarried when I was around 14 years old, I think. And about 3 years after he got married, all of a sudden my stepmom was not liking that all of my mom's things were still around the house. So my dad had kept like my mom's engagement ring, her wedding band, all things like that still kept in their box. He wore his wedding ring around his neck on a chain. He had kept obviously a ton of pictures, things that she collected, like a few of her collection, and then a bottle of her perfume, just like little things like that. Some big things, you know, obviously, but like little things like that that symbolized their marriage and the life that they had. My stepmom decides that she wants everything gone. Any photos of their wedding or like couple photos of them out on dates or vacations, family, anything that my mom was in, she wanted put away, which was crazy because that was one of the reasons why her and I got along so well, because when she first started coming around, she spoke so highly of my mom. So initially when this got brought up that she wanted to start removing things that reminded her of my mother, my dad fought back. He only fought back for like a day though, which was super annoying to me. But, you know, at least he attempted to fight back, okay? So then I started realizing, just a few days after this initially started or was brought up, I started noticing that they were starting to bag all of those things up and putting them in garbage bags. So at first I thought, okay, my dad, he's going to either put some of those things in the attic or take them to my aunt's house, which was my mom's sister, because he had done that with a lot of her other things that he was saving for my brother and I. He had taken over to my aunt's just for safekeeping and, you know, not to have them like as a constant reminder, but he wanted to save them for my brother and I. So he had taken them over to her house for that reason. You can probably understand my complete shock when I go to take my trash out that day and I noticed the same bags that I saw them packing all of my mother's things in to take to my aunt's, is what I thought, were in the garbage. And so I took them out and put them in the back of my car. And if he wasn't going to take them to my aunt's, then I definitely was, because I knew that there were things in there that I may want someday and that I definitely didn't feel like belonged in the trash. So it took about 2 days for my stepmom to realize that the trash bags she had put in the trash can were no longer there. And it took even less time for her and my dad to figure out that I was probably the one that had removed them from the trash bin. She immediately came and asked me if I removed them. I told her yes. She said that they were in there for a reason. And I said I didn't want my mother's things to be thrown away out into the garbage. And she said that they didn't belong in her house. I told her they weren't, which was accurate. They were no longer in her house. She didn't need to see them. And she just mentioned that they were really bad memories and that they didn't belong in her marriage. And it was very disrespectful of me to remove those and still have them around when they were supposed to be taken out with the garbage. Now, what really surprised me is when my dad turned to me and asked me to return the items. Like, hello, sir, this woman gave you 2 children, not the new woman, the old woman, and you're just going to throw out her things and not even allow her children to have them? I was super annoyed with that whole situation. And I said no, they were no longer his items. He threw them away, and someone else's trash is somebody else's treasure, and it was definitely my treasure, and I wasn't returning them. So my dad turns to me and said, we're going to have a conversation, and that's where that argument ended. So after that, they started calling a few people in the family, asking them if they had the items, to which they were all told no. They even called my brother. So my brother's older than me, and so when they called my brother, they definitely didn't get the response they wanted. He told them that he thought they were both disgusting and to never contact him again. I had already filled him in on what they were trying to do anyway. Once those plans didn't work, my dad then tried to convince me once again to return the items, to which I said absolutely not. My stepmom tries to involve herself again and tell me that she's my stepmother and she deserves more respect than what I was giving her, which before I would have been like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I did respect her. I didn't care for her, but I respected her, and it was what it was. And so then at this point, I'm so angry and so frustrated with the whole situation. I told her she would never be my stepmother or my family. And clearly the only thing that she is to me is my father's insecure second wife who can't fill the shoes that were left behind. This is where she really turns into a psycho. She calls the police, okay? She calls the police and tries to accuse me of stealing. Thankfully, the police really just kind of brushed her off because I lived in the house at the time and I was just taking the trash out and removing trash from the trash bin. So if they threw it out, like, it technically wasn't stealing. Like, they had already put it in the trash can and I recovered it. So it's the same as those people that go around and look in people's trashes and take things out and resell them. That's not a crime either. So after the police left, my stepmom looked at me and asked if this was all worth ruining my relationship with my father and her. And unfortunately, I just looked at her and said, if this ruins my relationship with my father, if he allows you to come in between us and ruin our relationship, then I'm perfectly fine doing what I'm doing because it wasn't a relationship to begin with. Girls, listen, if your daddy cannot stand up for you or be there for you, Now remember, when all this happened, I was only 17. So I was still in school having to live in their house. I couldn't just move out at the time. And it was absolute hell, okay? After this whole situation, like, it was hell. This is why I was also keeping things at my aunt's house, because my brother was in college and didn't have a ton of room to store all of our mother's things. And my aunt was so accommodating with that and was able to store everything. And when she was asked if she had the items, thankfully she was smart and told them no. So I'll forever be grateful to her for that. But anyway, it was just awful. My dad eventually did stop my stepmom from using everything I owned as leverage. I was grounded the majority of the time that I lived there after that. Like, it definitely ruined my dad and I's relationship. And I really, in that moment, like, felt like I lost both parents and not just one. So what do you think? Do you think I was the jerk for taking my mother's things out of the garbage, or would you have done the same?
Am I the asshole for siding with my 15-year-old daughter when she enforced the no red dress code with my aunt for her sweet 16? No, not at all. It's more like, are we the assholes? We've been working on my daughter 15 female's sweet 16 party for almost a year. My daughter picked the theme of Nightmare Before Christmas. This is a semi-formal, formal event. She's been lax on letting her aunts, grandma, and cousins pick out almost everything, except for the colors and the clothing assignments for the Sweet 16 court. She chose basic colors of black, white, and purples for her main colors. The guests would pick a character and use it as an inspiration for their formal wear. The birthday girl is going to be inspired by Jack as Santa wearing red. Her only parameters for her Sweet 16 was that she and her boyfriend be the only ones to wear red because she wanted to be Jack when he turned into Santa Claus. She told all her family and friends and made it very clear, no red. No, you're not the asshole. Like, you weren't the asshole before, but no, she told everybody beforehand. This has been in the makings for a year now. She told everybody beforehand, you can wear whatever the fuck you want as long as it's inspired by one of the characters from the movie. But red is a no-go. Anybody coming up with any type of outfit or any argument now is the asshole in the situation. You guys have known for a very long time. Why would you choose to buy any shade of red? No, you're not the asshole. Now here's the part where I need to know if we're the asshole. The party is 6 days away. No, you're not. No. 6 days? No, you're not. The party is 6 days away. I ran into my aunt and she was very excited to show me a picture of her outfit. The shoes were beautiful, but they worried me a little because they had some red on them. I brushed it off because who looks at shoes anyway? Then she showed me a beautiful bright red dress. I was shocked, and it showed because her smile fell. She then looked at my mom and said, "It isn't red, it's burgundy. You told me I could wear it because it isn't red." Even though it's burgundy, why would you buy burgundy when you know red is completely off the table and it's a possibility that the birthday girl may decide that that is in fact too close to the color that she's going to be wearing? Out of all the fucking colors on the color wheel, you chose burgundy. The closest you could get to fucking red without it being red. No, you're not the asshole. Like, are you fucking kidding me? No. My mom agreed that it was much darker in person. I was trying to fix my face and not panic. I told myself it would be okay and then that I would talk to my daughter about it. Skip to a few hours later. I did talk to my daughter and I was able to show her a picture of the dress. My daughter asked if my aunt could please wear a different color dress. My aunt said no because she ordered that dress for her party. Then we will miss you. We would love for you to have been here to celebrate with us, but unfortunately, the dress code is strictly no red. You went as close as you could and it's still too close to me. So unfortunately, you're not going to be welcome here unless you're willing to find something else to wear. That's it and that's all. My daughter told her it was the only rule that she had, and if she wasn't willing to follow it, she would miss having her there. But if she was willing to change colors, we would love to have her. You go ahead then, baby. She's 15, but she understands how important boundaries are and she is not afraid to enforce them. You go on then, baby. I love it. I backed my daughter up, but my mom and sisters are upset with me because my aunt doesn't have a lot of money and she can't buy another dress, or she won't come if she can't wear that dress. Well, unfortunately, then it looks like she's going to be spending the evening at home. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. My daughter very clearly stated to them that she told my aunt and everyone else not to wear red, and burgundy is a shade of red. She should have taken that into consideration when she ordered her dress. She is sorry, but she's not changing her mind. Not about this one thing. She gave in to all the other things they wanted. Am I the asshole for siding with my daughter when she stuck to the no red dress code for guests? Also, for not giving in when they tried to guilt us about it. No, baby, you're not the asshole. You guys had one fucking rule. One rule, and there's always got to be at least one goddamn relative that refuses to follow the rules, even if it's just one and it's fucking simple. Don't wear red. You shouldn't have to tell them you can't wear any variation of red. Anything from light pink to fucking burgundy. You can't wear red at all. You shouldn't have to say that. You said no fucking red. Out of all the colors on the wheel, you had to get as close to red as you fucking could. And now you're upset that I'm not giving you a pardon. I've decided that you're not as special as you think you are so that you can wear what the fuck you want. Now, this has been in the works for a year. An entire fucking year. No one else has had this issue. No one else had a problem finding something that was not red or any variation of it but your aunt. Now, hell no. My question is not even a fucking question. My thing is, if you had to ask somebody, you knew it was too fucking close. She went to her sister. You told me that this was okay because it's not red. If you had to ask someone about it, you knew it was too fucking close to the color you should have been wearing. Nah, you're not the asshole. Update. There's a lot of people here saying that it's just a birthday party. However, to my daughter, it's not. Because it's not. This is a milestone. This is a once in a lifetime event. You only turned 16 years old one time. She's given up everything else that she wants for her family. Everybody else has got to make the decisions except for the colors. This is the one thing that she's not willing to budge over. This is not just a birthday party. This is so much more than that. My mother started the tradition of giving her granddaughters a Sweet 16 extravagant party when her first one was born 23 years ago. She's given upwards of 5 to 7 so far, and it's finally my daughter's turn. It is a rite of passage at this point in our family. My daughter will have the court, the shoes, the dances, the tiara. Normally, they get to plan every single thing with my mom, the aunts, and the other female cousins. So this is not just a birthday party. It's a once-in-a-lifetime memorable moment in her life that she'll never be able to replace. My mother, 2 sisters, and 2 nieces are helping us plan the party. When trying to make decisions, my daughter just gave in to all their choices instead of making a fuss over things. She's not big and over the top, but this type of party traditionally is. They wanted her to wear 2 dresses, one a big poofy ball gown and the other a slimmer one. She only wanted a slim one, but ended up giving in to make my mom and sister happy. She also didn't want any alcohol at the party, period. But my sister begged and begged until she gave in and said not until after 10, and then they negotiated 9. This incurred an extra security cost. We don't drink often, and we don't have alcohol around our kids normally. But she felt that if she didn't give in, parts of my family wouldn't come. And that fucking sucks. That fucking sucks. This is supposed to be her party, but she's planning it based on wanting her family to come because she knows that they're not going to show up. She's seen it happen at other events. That fucking sucks. Your family fucking sucks. She also gave in to the explicit songs being played, but she made that at a certain time frame as well. She gave in to it being formal/semi-formal. She let them have free reign over cake flavors, food, decorations, everything except the colors. The one thing she got to keep was colors. One thing you need to know about my daughter is she's very level-headed, laid back, and really chilled. She's very mature and logical. She's also very respectful, and she doesn't talk back to adults. However, we've raised her to understand that she deserves respect also. When we talked to my mom via text message tonight, we were very much trying to have her wear anything else other than the red burgundy dress. But she said she would just not come if she couldn't wear that dress. We would love for her to be there. However, I will not compromise my daughter's boundaries for anyone, period. I don't find that unreasonable. Normally, my mom will loan dresses out to my aunt or help her buy them, but this time said no. You're still not the asshole, but your mom and your aunt are doing this on purpose. Very much so. They're very much doing this on purpose, and I don't give a fuck what nobody says. You will not convince me otherwise. You can't convince me otherwise. The aunt bought the one fucking dress as close to red as she could possibly get, knowing that red was completely off the fucking table. The mom, grandma, the one who was throwing the fucking party, normally under any other circumstances would have either helped her sister buy a dress or loaned her one of hers, but this time decided, no, I'm not going to do that. You can't fucking tell me they're not doing this on purpose. The most fucked up part about this entire situation is the fact that this party is supposed to be about OP's daughter. It's supposed to be strictly what she wants. This is supposed to be the Sweet 16 of her dreams, but it's not. Nothing about this party, the food, the music, nothing about this party is for her other than the colors and the outfits that she chose. That's fucked up.
I found my wife's secret Google account and I'm sick to my stomach. I, male 36, met my wife, Bailey, female 33, 9 years ago through mutual coworkers, and we hit it off immediately. I fell absolutely head over heels with this woman. She was everything I was looking for. I had gotten out of a toxic, dare I say abusive, long-term relationship right before that with a woman Bailey had been acquainted with but was not friends with. I had blocked her on everything and had no contact with her since breaking up. We got married right after the tail end of the pandemic, bought our first house together, and started trying to conceive. That was difficult because Bailey has PCOS. But last year, she finally gave birth to our first daughter. I'm having a blast being a dad. It's kind of a dream come true. I finally got my happy life with my perfect wife until last Monday. My laptop's battery shit the bed, so I opened up Bailey's work tablet with an attached keyboard. You can sit at it like a monitor to check on some tax stuff. But she wasn't home. It was just me and the baby. But we've never asked permission to use each other's devices. We've always been open like that. There's nothing for us to hide. That's what I thought. When I opened up the internet, I noticed that she had an incognito tab open. Never in a million years did I expect to discover what I did. My wife has a secret Google account with a photo album saved called XX. So I clicked on it. Did I discover an affair? Nudes? Nope. In this Google album were over 300 photos, 348 actually, of my ex, the woman I was with right before I met Bailey, the woman who tormented me and made me feel worthless. The album said it was started back right around the time Bailey and I started dating and was updated as recently as 2 weeks ago. The photos range from candid shots with family to pictures at her work functions. There were even pictures from her yearbook. I don't know how Bailey could have found her high school yearbook photos. Photos from vacation, ID photos from work, pictures of her in crowds, screenshots of videos and screen recordings of videos. Just her. The other people in the photos would be scribbled out, or the photo would be cropped and zoomed in on just my ex.
What the? This is scary.
There was other disturbing things I found too. There was another album with just zoomed up pictures of my ex's hair. Come to think of it, Bailey had recently started wearing her hair different, and my ex had a very identifiable hair type. There was another album with screenshots of comments on social media. Of course, I can't find them because I have her blocked, like Facebook groups she's in and public posts, and my ex is very low-key on social media. I can't imagine the lengths Bailey went to find them. My ex literally lives in another country now. There were also different links to the exact outfits she was wearing, like very specific blouses and trousers you'd have to really go looking for to find. A specific water bottle I remembered her purchasing, and identical hiking boots and sandals. So basically, my partner of almost a decade has been single white femaling my ex-girlfriend, has secretly stalked her to the point of buying her exact clothes and changing her hair. And now I'm starting to realize Bailey's new interests over the years were just my ex's. Bailey has turned herself into my ex. Everything feels like a lie. Our love feels like a lie. The things we share feel like a lie. I threw up and had a panic attack. I looked at our daughter and felt betrayed. I haven't confronted her yet. I don't know if I want to. I want to run away with our daughter. I want to print out all the pictures, leave them on the table, and disappear. I don't know what to do. I just want to throw up.
I would be very freaked out.
I'd be terrified. Where do you go from there? I have an update, but it's probably not as exciting and as juicy as you want. It's not bad, though. The next day, when I had calmed down, I called several social workers and therapists. I was planning to confront her there. Unfortunately, the only places that take our insurance did not have an opening for another couple of weeks. So despite what a lot of you think, I've known my wife for nearly a decade, and even while I was confused and upset and doubting things, I didn't think she'd be a danger to me. We took baby to grandma's, and I asked her to go for a walk with me. I did not beat around the bush and straight up told her, quote, I found the folder. Her face got very red and she was frozen, but also tried to play dumb at first. I was persistent, and she started crying and begged me not to leave her. This is what I uncovered. Bailey first started looking at my ex out of curiosity, to keep tabs, I guess, but over time it became more pathological. It's like she got addicted to it, but she also wanted to please me. Okay, maybe I talked about my ex a lot more than I thought, and Bailey wanted to emulate the good parts. She told me she really doesn't know who she is, and my ex's image was something she latched onto because, quote, she had me first. Finding information about her became a game. Finding the clothing and objects became a game by searching things like blue water bottle, green stripe, until she compared the product to a photo and found the exact one. The reason why I couldn't find the post wasn't because I had blocked my ex, but because my ex had made a new Facebook under a different name. Bailey found her profile by searching up a family member. She made a fake social media and added enough mutual friends until she could see my ex's post, and until her private Instagram accepted her. She weaseled her way into her exercise Facebook group where the videos were posted and searched her high school on a yearbook website to find the yearbook pictures. Over time, she just collected the images and would get excited to find something new, despite the fact that my ex is extremely private on social media. The folder had originally been called, quote, Hex the Ex, in case I discovered it. She was going to make the excuse of saving the pictures to put a hex on her. When she made a burner Google account, she deleted the old folder and named the new one XX. Then she got sloppy and comfortable, and that's right around the time I just happened to open the work tablet. We took a break. It was a while. We made it to couples counseling, and Bailey and I also began seeing separate therapists. She still has not had an assessment with a psychiatrist, but it's on the list. She promised to stop and deleted the album in front of me. Slowly, certain clothing items began to disappear from the closet. I still do not entirely trust her, and that is for me to work on. I'm afraid she has another secret account somewhere, like a backup. The physical mimicking is actually stopping though, including the hair change. We're still not okay. I want us to be okay, and it's okay if that takes time. If we end up not being okay, then that's something I have to deal with. What I do know is that my wife is incredibly insecure, probably mentally ill, and is misled. I don't really want to walk away from that. Although this probably isn't the most exciting update, I appreciate the private messages. I just couldn't get back to Reddit cares and links to resources. I'm not sure how I feel about social media, YouTube, and TikTok. Picking up my story though, that's wild. Until next time. If I ever give another update, I do hope it's a good one. A lot of people are screaming, he should have got divorced. But there's so much more nuance to life than that.
Yeah, I don't, this doesn't scream divorce to me. What it sounds like to me is that she was interested in the ex and then it became a little obsessive because she gamified it.
Yeah.
She literally gamified
she
it.
did.
And then it became an addiction that she just didn't drop.
I caught my roommate's boyfriend taking pictures of me while I napped in my room. Disclaimer, it's not my story time. 6 months ago, I had to kick out my lying, cheating boyfriend. Not only was I the one paying for all of the bills and the rent, he had been talking to multiple girls on Instagram at once. When he moved out, I realized my life would be a lot easier if I just got a roommate. Somebody to just share the expenses with. Through word of mouth, I landed on my now roommate. And she seemed perfect on paper. She was a nurse working at a hospital. She was my age. She was very health conscious, loved to cook, and at first seemed like the type of person that I could trust and rely on. The day she moved in, she asked me if her boyfriend could sleep over. Told her that night he could, but that I would prefer to have my own space without any man. Explained to her the situation that I had just had with my boyfriend. She said that she respected it. When I met her boyfriend, he seemed really considerate, very charming, and helped out around the apartment a lot, especially with moving her things in and cleaning up after them. I thought I had landed in roommate heaven. But one day I'm napping, and I thought I was alone in my own apartment. When I wake up, I see his hand holding his phone through my door. This man was taking pictures. When I wake up from my nap, all I see is a man's hand and his phone pointed at me through my door. I immediately get up from my bed, go outside, and realize he had left the apartment and left the door open. And I knew it was him. I called my roommate immediately. I told her what happened. Luckily, she had just gotten to her apartment and was on her way up. I was so angry at the fact that I'm sleeping in my own apartment, and now I have to be scared that there's a man lurking. Once she walks into the apartment, he was in defense mode, that nobody was in our apartment. Once again, I told her exactly what happened and that the door was left open. She said no, that he would never do that. Then she told me that he was probably not even in town anyway. I asked her to call him on speaker and his phone was turned off. He came over that night. They're both gaslighting me into believing that I was probably just dreaming, that he would never do that. When I asked to look at his phone, she slammed her bedroom door and left me there by myself with him. Obviously, he would have deleted the pictures by then. Of course, I asked her to move out. She continues to say that I was dreaming and that nothing happened. How in the world am I ever going to prove this actually happened? What should I do?